Yep, right here in the middle. Sure.
Like getting married, right?
Get the words. Get nervous to get the words.
Place your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me, please. I, David H. Collingwood,
I, David H. Collingwood,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of Township
of
Supervisor
Township Supervisor
in West Rockhill Township,
in West Rockhill Township,
Bucks County,
Bucks County,
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Here's your pen. There you go. I need you to sign. Actually, looks like I signed.
It's punctuation.
I just need a picture of the two of you.
I'm not sure that's good for either one of us.
Those are the rules.
This won't go in the paper, will it?
I'm popular, you know.
I hope it doesn't go anywhere.
There you go. Thank you.
Congratulations again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So welcome, everyone. Welcome to our reorganization meeting for 2020. It's January 6th, and the first thing we have to do is assign a chairman pro tem to handle the beginning of the meeting until we get into the agenda where we can actually do all the nominations. So I'll make a motion to, I will not make a motion, I'll open up the floor for a motion for a chairman pro tem.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? Or who are you making a motion for?
For Jim Miller.
Oh, okay. Do I have a second for that?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Having said that, I will open the meeting with a call to order and pledge of allegiance. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any public comments on the agenda items? Yes.
I do. Anthony Bogner, Climber Avenue. I thought, I see here under new business, the approval, I guess, for various items.
Yes.
My question is that, I thought this was a reorganization meeting. Some of these things look like they should be done in a regular meeting.
Well, this is a public meeting, and it's the first meeting of the year. And a lot of these items, I wanted to see if we could get them completed before the first meeting so we could have the cameras in place. And I worked through our solicitor, and she said it's perfectly legal, and a lot of people have other items on the agenda other than just the reorganization.
It's just my personal opinion on it, that
Okay.
I think that should be done, and I would ask the board to wait a week when we have a regular board meeting, because I think there's probably some other people that might have objection to it being done in a reorganization
the agenda for tonight, so I am going to bring them up, but thank you. Yes,
Yes, Frank Cemetery, 1030 Allentown Road. A question adding the treasurer's report and payment of bills to the consent agenda. It's about a 1-minute item at a regular supervisors meeting, and I do not see why it should be changed over.
I felt, let me say I felt.
Yeah, say that, because
Yeah, no,
I knew nothing about any of this stuff that's going on, folks. Jim Miller made all these decisions on his own.
I put these on the list of items that we could vote for tonight, okay? Those two report, that and the payment of bill, well, actually, the treasurer's report is an item which Greg just sits here and just reads off the numbers on there. And I felt that it was an item that could be readily made available to everyone and they could just look at it in the packet. I didn't see a need to have Greg just sit there and read numbers off.
The numbers are gonna be in the packet or in the agenda for the supervisors meeting?
They'd be available online, right?
Yeah, the consent agenda, everything that's on the consent agenda is in the
How about
packet.
the people that don't have computers?
They won't be able to see them on the screen like we normally do it, by doing it this way. It's wrong.
We're not hiding anything.
It gives perception, Jim. You went and called Greg, changed the resolution, the reorganization structure on Friday morning, 15 minutes before he's putting the agenda together, and changed normal rotation. I was supposed to be chairman. I was supposed to be liaison to the Park and Rec. They changed that. But this is reorganization and this is democracy, so be happy with what you have.
Okay, let's continue.
Yep.
That'll come up for a vote and we'll see where it goes, Frank. Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions about the agenda? Thank you. The first item then, the next item we want to do is resolution 2020-01, which is the reorganization. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over the announcements. First announcement is going to be that we will have a very short executive session to talk about legal issues after the meeting. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. The second item is that Suzanne Clark has resigned from the Joint Rec Authority. She doesn't feel that she can continue that with all the other things she's got going on right now. Completely understand. We're gonna miss you a lot. You had a lot of great ideas, and we will definitely miss you. So keep in touch.
Thanks,
I'll be happy to help.
thanks for your efforts, Suzanne.
Yes, absolutely. So I will put that up for a vote to accept the resignation of Suzanne Clark. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. The next item is resolution 2020-01, which is the reorganization itself. Now my PC died. There we go. I had, 1 second. Rather than read out the entire resolution to you, I thought I would pick out the items that changed since the major items that changed since last year. This is available to anyone who wants to see it. Board positions in this, if this reorganization is accepted the way it is, the board positions would be Jim Miller, Chair, Jay Kaiser, Vice Chairman, David Collingwood, Member. The members of the Penrose Regional Police Commission would be Jim Miller and David Collingwood. Jay Kaiser would be the alternate. Committee assignments that are new, David Collingwood would be the liaison to the Conservation Committee and to the Park and Rec Committee. There's a volunteer position currently open on the Planning Commission, which has been advertised if anyone is interested in applying for the Planning Commission. And the Joint Rec Authority, 2 positions would be filled by Jan Dietz and Carol Strobel, who were the 2 applicants that we received. The vacancy board would be filled this year with Vera Cole. So are there any questions about, are there any questions about the reorganization?
Can I ask you how this was decided upon to make these changes? And whose responsibility it was?
It was my responsibility.
Your
It was my
responsibility?
responsibility.
And what gave you that power?
We all have 3 equal votes. You have a right to vote no, and David has a right to vote no or yes, whichever he wants.
But you put this together?
I put it together, yeah.
Okay.
Somebody had to put it together.
Jay, I
He had it together.
Jay, I sent a letter to the
He had it
township
together.
manager and told him what my interests were
Okay,
and what I was hoping would happen tonight.
okay. Very good.
Okay.
Proceed.
Okay, could I get a motion to accept the reorganization?
I'll make a motion to accept the reorganization, resolution 2020-01.
Do I get a second?
I'm not seconding it, no.
I will second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye, no.
All right, it passed 2-1. Other business for tonight, the supervisor's health insurance resolution. I'm putting that up tonight. Yes, that would, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. Resolution 2020-02 is for the schedule of fees and charges. Greg, could you tell us what the changes might have been in that?
There's only 3 changes in the fee schedule. There are not any changes that are substantive. First, there's a charge for USB sticks. We didn't have it in our fee schedule. That will be $20. So that was added. The other change was for a roofing permit was moved out of the zoning and into the building section. Again, no change of fees, just changed in where it's listed. It's listed under building permits instead of zoning permits. The last change is for subdivision land development. Preliminary final subdivision plans. A minor subdivision has been changed, which is a 2-lot subdivision, from $500 plus $50 per dwelling unit to a flat fee of $600, because every minor subdivision will equal $600. So it's just a flat fee instead of $500 and $50 per dwelling unit. Those are the only 3 changes to the fee schedule.
Are there any questions about the fee schedules and charges?
I have none.
I don't know.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Other business. We have had this health issue, health insurance we've been questioned for over a year now on the cost of health insurance for supervisors. The premiums have been extremely high, and I took it upon myself to go out and get a different health plan 3 years ago, which took my health insurance from $25,000 a person down to $6,000 a person. And no one else was willing to accept that.
They couldn't, Jim.
That's not true.
It is. You don't know the story, see? If you knew someone's conditions or their needs, you would know. But to do that, to expose that, would be exposing their HIPAA rights. We went through this over and over again. It is what it is. You've made this resolution request, so you'll follow through with it for sure.
I've actually got the copy of this resolution from one other township. And there were several I could have gotten it from, because many townships have been doing this. To keep this rather short, the resolution, which the current state law is that supervisors are eligible for health insurance through the township. This resolution limits that to supervisors and are still eligible for the health insurance, but they must pay all of the premiums themselves. So if somebody wants a $25,000 or $50,000 health insurance policy, that's fine, they can pay it themselves. If somebody wants a $7,000 supplemental plan, they can pay it themselves, or they can just leave the plan completely and go out and get a plan on their own, which is what I did this year. Both my wife and I are off this plan, and we're on our own plan through Aetna. So I'm bringing this to the floor, this resolution to the floor for approval, hopefully, which would limit all future supervisors coming into the township on health insurance to where they would have to pay all the premiums themselves rather than burdening the township. The burden this year could have been as much as $160,000. Okay, for 3 supervisors, their spouses and families. And that's why this has to stop. if people have questions or anything, they can talk about them during the public comment at the end. I would like to put this up, first of all, did you have a?
Yes, I have something I want to say, and I'd like this to be part of the public record in the minutes. I am giving Township Manager a memo this evening that is going to be used to inform him that I do not intend to take any taxpayers' dollars for my personal health care benefits. That will free up to approximately $21,000 for infrastructure use for other uses within the township.
And I've already submitted a letter to the township saying that I wasn't taking any health insurance. So, I will put this up as, do I have a motion to approve this resolution, which would limit health insurance to where a supervisor must pay their own insurance premiums?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? I will make a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let the record show it was a 2-to-1. I'm sorry, do I have a?
I'm opposed.
Opposed, okay. Let the record show that it is 2-to-1 approval. The next item on there, these are all items which have been sitting out there for 2 to 3 months or even up to 12 months, which need to get resolved. We've had people complaining in the back rows they can't hear. This microphone doesn't seem to be coming down at the right angle or something, so we looked in, I looked into getting a microphone right on the lectern so that as people stood there and talked, their voice would be right there and it would carry out. We got the quote, I think the total was $489 or something.
I thought it was
$695, I'm sorry, $695. And I would like to put that up for a vote to buy a microphone for the lectern. Are there any questions among the board?
I believe I made my position clear last meeting.
Yeah.
I don't see a need for it.
Okay.
I would make a motion to have
Thank
that
you for
microphone installed.
Or second.
And I will second that motion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
I'm here.
Let the record show it's 2-to-1 approval. Another issue is videotaping, having the township do videotaping and having an official record of the meetings. I propose that we have a videotape system in here that records both the board of supervisors and the planning commission meeting, because the planning commission is a very important meeting, and I think having all that information available in the future would be beneficial to the township. So I'm making a motion that the township purchase the videotaping system and the, I guess, a receiver that would store all the information. Server, I'm sorry.
Supporting equipment.
Supporting equipment for it, yeah. Do I have a motion?
I would make that motion.
I'll second. Are there any questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
I'm opposed.
It's a 2-to-1 vote. We've also had concerns about making sure the building was secure, making sure that there's people not trying to break in or anything. And we're also concerned about the lobby area not having any kind of recording of anybody coming in or out of the building. So, once again, I've asked that the township look into security cameras for around the building, so the 4 sides of the building are recorded, so we know what's going on around the building at night, and also one in the lobby that we could record anyone coming in or out and any activity that's going on. This camera would be video only, no audio. Okay, so anyone coming into the building, your audio would not be recorded. It's just video, so we have a record of things. I would ask that we make a motion to install security cameras around the building and in the lobby. That would be a total of 5 cameras.
I'd make that motion. I do support this effort.
Okay,
I will second that.
great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That's 3-0 vote. Holiday House Pool is not a business. That's the next item on the list. Holiday House Pool is a community center which is run jointly by West Rockhill and Sellersville, and it's been running for 50 years as a community center. So, West Rockhill and Sellersville both donate $13,000 a year toward the pool. I'd like to mention also that we collect another $97,500 in ticket sales, in annual memberships, and in events. 97,000 more. That's what the pool does themselves. This year, because of an audit that had to be done, and because of the new getting reincorporated for another 50 years, along with some extra mowing we had to have done, we actually ran $4,000 over. Sellersville quickly added their $2,000 in without any questions. And West Rockhill, I've been asking for 3 months if we could put in an additional $2,000 just to balance the books. It hasn't happened yet, but I thought I would bring it up tonight and ask for a motion to approve $2,000 donation to the Holiday House Pool to match the $2,000 that Sellersville gave.
Jim, before you do that, Mr. Chairman, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can you explain to the public how much money Sellersville charges or takes back out of the $13,000 that they give for their administration?
I can look it up. I don't have that number right in front of me.
I think it's about $7,000.
Okay.
I think.
Sellersville Borough handles all our accounting. They handle, we get our mowing through them. They don't pay for the mowing, we pay for the mowing, but it's through their contract. And we're looking into seeing if we can do that through our contract this year, if it's cheaper. Their guys come over and do a lot of the maintenance work. They're over there probably a couple times a week doing something. Something breaks, we have them come in. They come in at the beginning of the season, they help us open the pool, and that's where the money goes. So we are actually taking them away from their own work to come over and do that work. We also have a lot of volunteers. We have volunteers that have been in there. The amount of work the volunteers are doing is amazing, and that keeps those costs from rising. But it is a community pool, and people volunteer to help, and we have to pay to get other work done. So if it's $7,000, then that's what it is, $7,000 or $8,000. Okay. I'm simply asking that for this year, we have a lot of new events coming up. We've got a lot of new exciting things coming to the pool. I'm hoping that we don't see this again. I have not asked for a single penny out of the township for the 4 years that I've been involved with the pool. This is the first time. So, having said that, are there any other questions?
I have none.
I would make that motion.
Do I have a second? I will make a second. All in favor?
I just wanted,
All in favor? Aye. And one decline. So it's 2-1 vote. Okay, adding the treasury report and payment of bills to the consent agenda. Frank, I see your concern. I'm willing to table that until the next meeting, if we would like, just because to find out how everybody else feels about it that couldn't make it tonight. I think it's a valid concern. I didn't know that many people actually sat and read the numbers when he did it, and I don't, Greg can supply copies, but if having Greg do it for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever, makes everyone more comfortable, then that's fine.
Thank you.
I will table that item. And the last thing I have is the PSAT's annual conference registration. Everyone needs to know that the 3 of us are eligible to go to PSAT's along with a member of our staff. Greg, who's going this year?
Sherry's going from the staff,
Okay,
and it's up to each board member if they want to go to PSATs.
right, yeah.
But this is a reminder that they have to do it online if you want to go.
Yes, and I think that's coming up in about a week or 2. We need to register. So I'll make a motion to allow members of the staff and the board of supervisors to attend PSATs. I vote.
You made the motion?
I made a motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that was 3-0, okay. And that's all I have for tonight. I will open this to public comment. Yes.
First, I'd like to thank
Name,
you.
please, name
Oh,
it.
Regina Schreimeyer,
Yeah.
Sterners Road. First, I'd like to thank you for your efforts at transparency, because there are things I heard tonight that I've never heard before. Second, of the $160,000 that you would have paid, how much are we still paying?
I don't have that number. Do you have that number?
How much are you paying for, what's your exact question?
How much of the board, health insurance is a part of what would have been?
You want me to answer that?
I'm the only one that's,
Yeah, I know.
didn't you fill out a right
Okay,
to
it's
request?
30, I believe, I forgot to bring it with me, I thought maybe you would remember, but I believe it was like 36, 37?
Approximate, I don't know the exact number, I thought it was 35.
Okay, so 35, so we're splitting hairs there. Okay, so we're still paying $35,000, and that's not gonna change, is it?
No.
Okay. And you're not gonna give yours up?
You making public comment?
Yes, I'm asking you,
Yeah, I'm staying the same as I was when I was elected.
I see.
I'm not answering, we went through this 4 or 5 times already, you keep coming back to
I
this.
think people need to remember this.
Well, they can remember it. When I ran, nobody voted against me, and were opposed to it.
Well-
He knew I had it.
But did any of us know that you
Yes,
had
you
it?
did, you
Not
knew.
me. I did not know. No, we did not. No.
Well, it's plain to
No,
see.
I didn't
It's
know.
very plain to see.
I would never have voted for you if I had known that. And then the last thing is, with your security cameras on James Park, around the building,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you could aim one, is that too much to have one that's aimed at James Park? And that way, if there's any kind of problems with James Park, you would see entrance and.
Actually, these are pretty high def cameras, and there'll be one on that corner, and one on this corner, and one back here and here, and I believe that the ones out here
Would
will,
catch it?
will actually catch
One
at
563?
least out to the road. At night in the dark, I don't know what you're going to see.
Okay, all right, I just wondered if that would be helpful to the township.
Yeah.
And finally, the treasurer's report. This is my own personal preference. All those numbers across in tiny print,
Okay. Your time's up, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll save that for next time.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Yes, Mr.
Frank
Schrank.
Shemender, 1030 Allentown Road. I got a question with this holiday house money. Does this mean that Sellersville puts in 13,000 and sometime in the course of the year they take 6,000 out and it means only 7,000? Or is there a part, wait a minute, I got 2 minutes. Or is it in expenses for the year for lawn mowing and stuff like that?
It's expenses during the year for coming over and putting the diving board on and coming over and closing the pool and draining it and things like that.
Because I never heard a problem when West Rockhill had the people come over and charge us with overtime from their home in Coopersburg down to the swimming pool to check the water and then come here to start their job. Nobody at West Rockhill complained about that. And that was terrible. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Yes,
My name is Ariana Olenich, 2755 Route 412, Coopersburg. I'm from Springfield Township, actually, and I'm here to just convey my appreciation to the existing board members from last year for taking a stand to oppose the Adelphia Gateway Pipeline Project and the Quakertown Compressor Station. And I just wanted to let you know that my understanding is that the deadline for a rehearing request for the recent FERC order regarding the project is coming up very soon.
right.
And there is the possibility for West Rockhill to potentially become involved also in a legal challenge to the FERC order. And there's several different organizations. I'm sure you're familiar with Clean Air Council, as they've been very supportive for the duration of this project. But the Delaware Riverkeeper Network, my understanding is they're the ones with the wherewithal to actually challenge this project at that level. And all these various organizations and community members as well. There's the Concerned Citizens for Clean Air locally here as well, who have been on a private level making an effort to oppose the compressor station. But I just wanted to convey my appreciation for your steadfast conviction in opposing the project, and to let you know that I know this deadline is fast approaching, and please avail yourself of the opportunity to connect with some of these organizations who are really excellent resources for moving forward with this continued opposition to the project.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes.
Jan Dietz, 1420 Ridge Valley Road. I do have a question. With being on the Joint Commission for the Holiday House, why do the West Rockhill Township public workers help out as well as the Sellersville?
They do help out, but not to the same extent. They'll bring stuff over and back for us if we need, but we usually use just the one. It's easier. They're already.
Because if
more
we
people.
could equal
They
that
have-
out,
What's that?
if we could equal that out,
If we could.
then Mr. Kaiser would understand that it's trying to be equaled out.
Yeah.
He sees that
We only have two and a half.
they only have three.
They have three.
That's it. And the roadmaster in Sellersville is 80 years old, and
Right.
that's not, you know what I'm saying? So really, they only have two guys that can really do that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that might be a help to help answer Mr. Kaiser's question about the difference in, you know, what they're taking out.
Yeah, but you have to consider they have the expertise now for pumping, building and things like that, so.
Well, I
Yeah,
understand that,
yeah,
but
I
that would be
understand.
something that I
Yes,
would
yeah, okay.
address later, but that could
Yeah.
be an option.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other public comments? Yes, Mrs. Furl.
Sue Furlong was, 232 Bart Road. I heard you say that you wanted to put cameras here on the building. I didn't hear you say you wanted to go out and get bids. You just voted to go ahead and put cameras, but I thought you would say, do an RFP or whatever they call it, to go out and get bids. You don't just hand somebody a directive, go get cameras. First, you would get bids and, evaluate the quality of the equipment and how much that equipment costs. Perhaps get their expertise as to how many cameras, hang through what, where, and when. Quite frankly, you're no expert at security. So where you want to place the cameras may or may not be adequate. So I think that you're really cutting the process short. And if you're going to spend the money, make sure